Hello and welcome. So today is our Pilates fundamentals or principles or kind of basics of what it's all about, how we do it, why we do it, what's the point of it. So if you're new or just want a reminder, fabulous, that's what we're here to talk about today. So our Pilates fundamental principles are basically underpinning all Pilates classes you'll hopefully ever go to. Anywhere. So they're like the foundations of what you'll get in a class. So these are things like breathing, precision, your flow, your coordination, your centering, your control. So of course that's a lot about the core connections. There'll always be a little bit of relaxation in there, whether that's just the breathing practice or whether it is the more kind of traditional lying down. We're going to start with some roll downs to get the spine moving and flowing. Plus, that's really nice to start a class anyway. But we'll go over our sort of postural alignment, which we do almost every class anyway, just to check how we're standing, whether we need to take any adjustments or anything like that. So let's start there, and then we'll go from there. So as I say, if you're new to it, or just want a reminder, here we go. So let's come to stand. So our standing, we start from the feet and work up. So our standing leg alignment is just double checking your feet are underneath the hips. When we say hips, we're thinking about those bony hip bones there at the front. Don't go wide, this is your bum, these are your hip bones. So go hip bones. If you were to draw a straight line from the middle of the hip, down the center of the knee, center of the ankle, and roughly down to the second toe. We say that because sometimes people have a bit of a natural turnout. So what we've got to do is just work those inner and outer thighs to try and keep that alignment precise. So from here, just pop a little bend through the knees and we'll just do a little rock of the pelvis. So think about those hip bones at the front pointing down towards the floor and then hip bones pointing up towards the ceiling. So we can call this some north and south. So hips going south, hip bones going north. So that up and down tilt of the pelvis. And then start to slow that down, bring it back to almost at that center point, and that's what we call neutral pelvis. We want also what we call neutral spine. We don't really have to do anything with the spine here, just don't do anything over exaggerating, so don't arch the back too much. We want to think about just a slight closure of those ribs at the front. A lot of us, we're okay to admit it, flare the ribs. So just a bit of that connection, drawing those ribs in towards that center line. We'll start to feel that little bit of abdominal engagement, hopefully less back pain there as well if we're connected a bit more through the front. Let's start to take a couple of shoulder rolls back, and of course do a couple forwards as well. And as you're doing that, let those shoulders be nice and heavy, maybe a quick neck stretch, ear to shoulder, second side, maybe some half head circles. Take as many of these as you need as I talk you through our breathing. So our breathing in our Pilates practice is called lateral thoracic breathing. Lateral meaning sideways, thoracic meaning mid back ribcage area, breathing meaning breathing. So what we're going to focus on is if you want to put your hands on your ribs, you definitely can do, or maybe just placing the hands on the fronts there rather than the sides. You're going to expand those ribs out wide on a big breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to draw those ribs slightly closer towards each other. The ribs expand wide, inhale, ribs drawing back in, exhale. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Exhale. So you can feel the ribs almost press into the hands as you inhale and expand those ribs, fill the lungs. And as you exhale, those ribs are sort of pulling away from the hands. So those ribs are drawing in and the abdominal muscles are starting to switch on. So our breathing muscles keep going as I'm talking at you here. Our breathing muscles are at the top is your diaphragm, bottom pelvic floor, transverse abdominal muscles around the sides. That we also connect to those muscles that attach to the spine, called the multifidus as well. We don't really feel those so much when we're breathing, but just know that they're involved as well, relaxing the arms. Great, so continuing that lateral thoracic breathing, let's start with our roll downs. If you're not at the back edge of your mat, let's head there now. Heaviness in the arms and the shoulders, breathing in, eyes at eye level. As you exhale, then you tuck the chin to the chest, your eye gaze is down to the ground. Roll the shoulders forwards. So really slowly, one vertebrae at a time, rolling down. So you want to go pretty slow for this, particularly first one. Bend your knees if you're not already. Almost feel like you've got sort of hand weights in the hands that are almost dragging you down. You don't have to go all the way to the floor, but if you want to, you can just bend your knees enough so you can tap the floor. You may want to nod, shake of the head, a little wiggle of the shoulders at the bottom there. Inhale to prepare to roll up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, think belly button to spine. That core is sort of sending that mid back up towards the ceiling as you slowly stack and roll your way back up to stand. Shoulders over hips and then chin parallel to the floor, eye gaze forwards. So eyes at eye level means you're just gazing straight forwards. You're not looking down at the floor until we hit that roll down. So eyes at eye level, spread the toes. Inhale, rise onto the balls of the feet. Find some ankle wobbles. Exhale to release the heels down. Roll down for round 2. Inhale, prepare. Soft bend through the knees, chin to chest. As we exhale, roll those shoulders forwards. Again, imagine you're carrying something really heavy in those hands, almost dragging you down. So I'm saying that so that we're not extending and reaching too much with the arms. The arms are just really heavy and relaxed. Noticing as we roll down whether one area of the spine feels a little tighter than the other. You don't have to do anything at this point, just bringing your awareness to it. Breathing in at the bottom. As you exhale, think your bum pointing down at that space in between the heels, belly button to spine as we control, stack those vertebrae one at a time. Try not to rush, coming all the way up to stand. Chin parallel to the floor, eyes at eye level. Spread the toes. Inhale, rise up onto the balls of the feet. And exhale, control it down. Round 3, we're going to stay down there. Breathing in to prepare. Relax the shoulders. Exhale. We're going to draw those ribs in slightly, belly to spine, chin to chest, arms heavy, shoulders relaxed. So always keeping that nice wide gap between your ears and your shoulders as we roll our way down. Again, thinking one vertebrae at a time. This time, bend your knees a little bit more so your hands are on the floor and just start to walk the hands out until you find tabletop position. You can tap the knees down. And we're in our hands and knees tabletop. Spread the fingers nice and wide, hands under shoulders and knees are underneath the hips. And from here, you might just want to give yourself a bit of a gentle hip sway side to side. Checking in with the outer hips and glutes. Great. And then bring it back to center. Let's go through a couple of cat-cows. Breathing in to prepare. Breathing out, you're going to tuck the tailbone under. Belly button to spine, chin to chest. So another version of that sort of roll down, but we've got the floor now. So really press down into the floor. Can you get a bit more back stretch here? Gently releasing that. Flowing through to our arch back, we call cow. So press down through the hands, arms are straight and strong, shoulders down away from the ears, lengthening through the front side of the body. Let's just do one more of each. Rounding through the spine, belly button to the spine, chin to chest, so getting those neck muscles as well. Press down through the hands, strong arms. And let's flow through to our cow. So reversing what we just did. Shoulders down away from the ears, long neck. And then bring yourself back to your flat back, your tabletop. So going for a bit of rotation here. So in your classes, you always want to send the spine all of the ways forwards, backwards, which we've just done, rotation, which we're about to do, and side bend, which we'll do later. So those 4 movements of the spine. You're going to take your left arm out towards the left side wall. Breathing in, lift the chest. Breathe out, tuck the left arm underneath for our thread the needle. Now, you can only go as far as the body will let you here before you stop bending your right elbow. But I want you to work from the left ribs. So left ribs threading underneath until you have to then bend that right elbow to continue left ribs gliding underneath. Floating back out to that start position, left arm to left wall, lift the chest, inhale. Exhale, tuck that left arm underneath, let the left ribs be your leader. Keep going, left ribs tucking underneath, slowly bend the right elbow, about halfway is enough, and then coming back out. One more, breathing in, breathing out, tuck. Keep sending those left ribs underneath, and then just bring it back, left hand to the floor. Easing off, so bum to heels, and you might just want to do some wrist rotations, little sways, whatever feels good for you there. So our rotation, we're thinking of, so if you think of your thoracic breathing, lateral thoracic breathing, it's the ribs. You still want to be thinking of the ribs as you find your rotations. I think easiest way to feel and get that rotation rather than just moving the arms, because sometimes it's just the shoulder that moves and the arm and not actually the spine that's rotating. So we'll go for second side. Just something to think about your second side is your hips. So you want to be keeping really stable through the hips and not wandering the hips side to side. So try and keep them nice and stable. Let's give it a go. So back onto hands and knees. This time it will be your right arm out to right side and right ribs as your leader. So let's take that right arm out, left hand presses into floor, chest lifts. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, thread that right arm underneath, thread the kneel pose, right ribs move round, and then start to bend your right elbow. Hold for a moment, and then coming back out. Inhale. Exhale, threading through, right ribs lead, bending the left elbow. See if you can keep those hips nice and central. Bring yourself back out. Last time, inhale. Exhale, right arm threads underneath, right ribs pull round. Find that rotation. Then just bring that right hand back. Ease off for a second, shake off the wrist, maybe some wrist rotations. Great. So of course, when we do things two sides, you may feel one side a little bit more than the other. That's okay. So let's just come down onto our bombs. So bring your legs out in front, feet and knees together. Let's have the fingertips only just back behind you, but squeeze the inner thighs, the inner knees, and lift the chest, breathing in. As you exhale, we're going to sway the knees over to the left side. So if we don't kind of think about it, the right knee won't be in line with the left knee. So just slide that right thigh along so the right knee is on top of the left. And if you've got short arms like me, that right hand might not even be on the floor. That's okay. So from here, the knees are stacked right, and if you're anything like me, your shoulders and your chest will be facing that right knee as well, or both knees. But what I want you to do is get the chest to face the front top edge of your mat. So just gently pull the right shoulder backwards, so we've got that bit of rotation there as well. We will do this lying down, but sometimes it's easier to kind of see where you are here. So see where the knees are and feel and notice where the chest is. Breathing in here. As you breathe out, your right butt cheek is going to go to the floor as you bring the knees back to center. Now notice here, you can lean some weight in the hands for a second. Notice here your feet, knees, hips, ribs, chest, shoulders are all facing the same direction. Now, of course, in a rotation, that's going to change. So breathing in here. Breathing out, squeeze it in the thighs, rotate. Let the knees float over towards the right side. So ankles and knees are stacked. Now, from here, let's just slide that left knee along the right, just so they are completely stacked. And again, if that left arm isn't there anymore, that's okay. Just really lift out through the chest. Now think of the left shoulder gently pulling backwards, so your chest is facing that top short edge of your mat again. I want you to keep thinking of that top left knee, reaching it forwards. So it just gives an extra bit of rotation and chest opening there. Breathing in. As you breathe out, left butt cheek down to the mat to bring the knees back to center, and you can give yourself a big hug around the knees. So that's kind of our basics of that. You will feel it a little bit more stronger when we come down to the mat, to the floor. Cool. But first, what I want us to do is get the small pelvic tilt seated, and then we'll do it lying down. So feet hip width, so just a small gap between your feet. Remember our standing leg alignment. They're not that wide, they're only a small gap between the feet. So take your hands onto the shins for a moment. Sit up as tall as you possibly can. Now when we sit up, this is called a flat back. So in Pilates, it kind of says what it means. It's very basics. Flat back, round back, flat back, round back. That's what we're going to be doing. Now we can do that without thinking about anything at all and not activating and connecting. But of course, that's what we want to do. We want to activate, connect, and do things correctly to feel things and get the benefit. So shoulders slightly shrug down, long neck, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Now, if you're used to, for example, I'm used to lots of yoga, lots of lengthening, lots of extending. Now what I do is overextend. So I can automatically feel my normal is to overextend and arch my back, which means my front body isn't connecting. So keep drawing those ribs in, so we're feeling that core connection even in that long spine, flat back position. So take a moment to breathe in. As you breathe out, you're going to draw those ribs in further, tuck the tailbone under and round the back. Keep the hands on the shins. Now, it's better if you have longer arms than me, you can go further backwards. You guys will probably be back here because you have normal length arms. Me, not so much. So I've just got to really work a bit stronger here because I don't have the length of the arms. That's okay. So rounding the back. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. So what, let's keep the eyes at eye level so we're not looking down at all. Because it's really tempting to bring chin to chest, but then we're just getting too much in the neck there. So let's give it a go a little bit quicker. So we're going to inhale, bend the elbows, lift and lengthen to keep that core drawn in. Exhale, hold. Inhale, prepare. Tuck the tailbone, round the back. Keep the chin away from chest, shoulders down away from ears. Inhale to roll up, flat back. Exhale, hold, draw those ribs in, shoulders down. And then tuck the tailbone under, belly button to spine, rounding through the spine. Good. Bring it up, relax the shoulders. Wow. So that is our tuck of tailbone, so pelvic tilt, and rounding on the flat back. So it's all really important to kind of have those foundations in our Pilates practice. So we're going to go for a side bend from here. Mermaid position. So swing your legs to one way. I've got my right hand down and my legs are over to the left side. Spin yourself around as much as you need, just so you can see your screen and you can see me and you feel comfortable in your space. So what I've got here is I've lined up my heels with my bum. Basically my feet aren't too far out because it's not going to work. Well, it won't work as well. So again, the knees, they don't have to be perfectly stacked for this one, so don't worry if that left knee is slightly in front of the right. Don't worry too much about this. If the hand is too close in, it's not going to work. Also, if it's too far out, it won't work. Ideally, halfway between those 2 points. But when we go into a side bend, you might feel too close or too long. Just adjust your stance. As long as you've got a decent gap between your side ribs and your upper arm, you've got an opening through the armpit. Now let's try this. Sink into your shoulder. Your armpit is closed. Press down through the hand, shrug the shoulders down, lift out. So we've got all the side muscles connecting here. Those muscles around the shoulder blades helping you support that position. Keep that. Left arm goes out, breathing in. As you exhale, you're going to reach up to the ceiling. Might be enough. Most of us need more to find the side bend. So send both the knees forwards, press down through the hands to lengthen up to that long side bend position. Take the top arm up to the ceiling, so make a T shape, shrug the shoulders down, long neck, core connects, and slowly lowering those hips back down without bending any elbows. Relax. Take a moment to sink into it again, just so you know, oh, okay, I was already doing that. Okay, I can't do that anymore. I'm not allowed. So press down through the hands, shrug the shoulders down, those back muscles, side body muscles are working. Again, we've got this space between the armpit, side ribs and upper arm. Armpit is open. Yes. I really have to think about that armpit. Breathing in. Breathing out, maybe just the top arm up and over, sorry. Otherwise, you're going to send those knees forwards, lengthen through the fronts of the thighs. And keep lifting the top ribs, your left ribs, up and away from the floor. That armpit is super open now. Press down through the hands. Breathe in, left arm to left ceiling. Left ceiling? The ceiling. Breathing in. Draw those ribs in and slowly keep that armpit open as you control all the way down to ground. Nice. Swing your legs round. Second side. So yes, it's a side bend and it's a spine flexion position, lateral flexion here, but it's loads about stability through the shoulders and of course that core connection. So the way down is hard, right? So really make sure we're really slowing down on the way out of the exercise so those muscles go, oh, okay, I've really got to switch on here. It's those difficult bits of the exercise that you've really got to focus on, naturally anyway, just to not fall out of it, but to train those muscles to go, oh, okay, right, this is when I need to really work, engage, rather than just sink into the joints, which is really easy to do. I'm well aware. I want to do it as well. I have to train myself. So heels roughly in line with the hips, hand not too far away, not too close in. Again, thinking about that, you can think of, rather than just think of the armpits, what sometimes I think about is the lifting up and away from the floor. So those bottom ribs, lift them up and away from the floor because they want to collapse down, because you can, but for really feeling that those side body muscles connecting, shoulders down, neck long, right arm to right side wall. Just do the arm first, breathing in to lift it up. Breathing out, bicep next to ear, that might be enough depending on this side. Bring it back out to the side wall, breathing in. Draw the ribs in, slide the knees forwards, and then reaching that top arm up and over. So really keep sending the knees forwards, opening up through the fronts of the thighs and the side body. Check in with that shoulder stability. Are you still drawing those shoulders down, away from ears? Right hand to the ceiling, long neck, breathing in. Draw those ribs in, keep the armpit open as you control those hips back down. Yes, it's difficult, isn't it? That's why we practice. Breathing in one more time. Either just the arm, otherwise let's get the hips lifted up as well. Breathing in. Breathing out, lift that top arm up to the ceiling, hold, inhale. Draw those ribs in, control, lowering down. And release. Take a moment to sink into the shoulder. Were you doing that already? Check in. Otherwise, lift out. Great. Awesome. Now we shall go down to the ground. I'm just going to check the time because I've not got my watch on. Okay, we're good. We're good. So we're going to now roll down to the mat. Now we get about halfway and go, this is really difficult. I'm just going to flop down. What I want to do is get to that challenging point and go, oh, okay, I've really got to connect now. So yes, as I just mentioned in that lowering down exercise, that mermaid side bend, those difficult bits, you go, right, really got to connect. So arms are out, shoulders are relaxed. Tall spine, so flat back position, but keep those ribs drawn in. Inhale. As you exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone under, roll down. I'd say about halfway. I never have to go actually halfway to feel that connection, so you might not have to go that far either. But making sure we're rolling back, so we're feeling this connection through the core, but we're still pretty good to go through the arms, the shoulders, the head, and the neck. They are pretty easy and free moving here. Breathing here. Breathing out, can you lift one leg up? Inhale, bring it down. Exhale, lift other leg up. Nothing else moves. Right leg lifts again. Hold. You might need to rock back ever so slightly to bring that other leg to join. Breathe. And yes, you'll feel wobbles. We breathe. We keep the shoulders relaxed, neck long. If 2 legs is too much, you keep repeating one up, one down. One more big breath. As you exhale, 1 foot down, other foot down, give yourself a big hug around the knees. Drop the head there. Great. So that was our halfway leg lift exercise. Now we're going to ignore the legs and just roll down to the floor. Here we go. So tall spine, shoulders relaxed, breathing in. Breathing out, tuck the tailbone, find that halfway position or halfway-ish. Connect even more and continue to roll down. Use your breath. That's it, finding our way down to ground. So there is an exercise in Pilates called the hundreds. So it's called the hundreds because there's 100 beats of the arms and 100 breaths. Now that's a lot, isn't it? So we won't be doing the full hundreds, but we'll do the exercise, we just won't do 100 of them. So what firstly I'm going to go over with you is the breathing, just because we're lying down and that feels quite nice. So place the hands maybe on belly or ribs, elbows are wide, back of the head is heavy. This is our relaxation position in our Pilates practice. Feet at hip width distance. So again, not so wide with the feet. Hip bones, knees, ankles in line with the second toe. So our hundreds breathing is 5 sniffs in and 5 sighs out. I'll talk you through that, but I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration. It's a So what I'm trying to do is basically this. It's exactly the same. However, it's 5 little breaths in to fill the lungs, 5 breaths out to empty the lungs. So I'm not expecting a full inhale on that first sniff. That is not correct. And you'll get stuck at that first breath and go, I've got nowhere else to go. So little sniffs in, little sighs out. So let's just practice the breathing together. We'll just go a couple of rounds. So inhale, full exhale, and then we'll start on the 5 sniffs in. Breathing in. Full breath out. There we go. Full breath in. Full breath out. And then release it. So that is your hundreds breathing exercise. Now we've got to put that to movement. So arms by the sides of the body, shoulders are relaxed, shoulders down away from the ears. We're going to do almost like a roll up position, so an abdominal curl up. Breathing in. As you exhale, we're going to shrug the shoulders down, draw the ribs down to the hips, chin just hovers above the chest, slide the arms down, slide the hands down, and then just so you can lift them, so hand in line with the elbow, in line with the shoulder, soft bend through the elbow and soft wrists here, but don't drop the hands, keep reaching out through the fingers. Now we're going to beat the arms, so you're going to go up and down with the arms. I want it to feel like the arms are moving from the shoulders, not from the wrists or from the elbows. So you're going to start pumping those arms. And let's start our breathing. So full inhale, full exhale, and then we'll start our sniffs for 5 rounds. Breathe in. Breathing out. Sniffs. One more. Release the arms, release the head and the shoulders down. Take a moment. So notice what we're feeling here. So any engagement through the arms, the shoulders, the core. Notice if head and neck we're feeling a little tired or heavy. That's okay, sometimes that's a thing. So if the head and the neck are feeling like it's just hard work to lift your own head up, I absolutely agree. It is. So a couple of things we can think about. Let's have a little practice together. Shrug the shoulders down, so shoulder blades down the back of the ribs. Chin towards the chest, but find that little hover of a chin away from chest so it's not completely tucked in. Slide the hands down to lift. Keep shrugging the shoulders, and then just lift the chin a little bit so your eye gaze is just above the knees. See if that's any different. Otherwise, you can take one hand behind the head to support it, and you can just beat with that one arm. And then we can, of course, swap over there. Otherwise, if it just feels too much for today, keep them down and just work the arms. Now we're going to go one more round. Now we're going to add the legs. So again, a fundamental movement, placement of the body is tabletop legs, also called knee float. So if I say knee float, this is tabletop. So breathe in where you are. As you breathe out, draw those ribs in, connect the core, and then you're going to bring one leg up to that tabletop. So tabletop is knee above the hip and ankle in line with the knee, somewhere thereabouts. You can't see it, right? So you've got to feel it. So if you see your toes up to the ceiling, that means your foot is above the knee. If you can't see your foot at all, it's probably down towards your bum. So you want to be able to kind of see it almost at the corner of the eye. That is your tabletop leg. Breathing in. Breathe out, place it back down. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, left leg lifts, tabletop. Now, just check in with that tabletop second side. What I want you to notice is that thigh come in too close towards the chest? Because most of us have the availability to do that. So your body goes, wait, you can do that, so take it all the way. And actually, that's not your tabletop legs. Thigh, straight line, so knee is above the hip, and foot is roughly in line with the ankle. I'm just looking at mine. That's about right. Thinking, is mine correct? I think it is. Always questioning that. Keep the left leg where it is. Breathing in. Breathe out, right leg to join. Tabletop legs. So tabletop, you can either have your feet and your legs together or a slight gap in them. It really doesn't matter. I'll let you decide there. So just holding that position for now and keep breathing. What I want you to notice is again, your head, your neck, and shoulders okay. They should be pretty free and easy. If you are not connecting to your core, so if you're not drawing those ribs in, the shoulders will do the work for you. So get out of the shoulders and make sure that the core is working here. We should have a slight little gap underneath that lower back. So again, if you're over-engaging the abdominal muscles, what will happen is you'll push the back into the floor, this will overwork, and also upper back, shoulders, neck will overwork as well. So great news is we don't have to work that hard. But of course you still have to work, right? So let's just work on some toe taps before we do that hundreds exercise again. So I always have my hands near ribs and belly just so I can kind of feel them. So if that's helpful for you, go for that. Breathe in. Right foot goes down towards the floor. Bring it in. Inhale. Left leg down. Or left toes down. Bring it in. Right leg. Nice and slow. If you're doing it too quick, you're probably not doing it correctly. Engage. Nice. Hold. So both legs are in that tabletop knee float position. If that feels relatively easy, number one, maybe you're doing it too quickly. Number two, maybe you've got enough strength to do two legs together. Here we go. Breathing in. Small movement. Send the thighs away. Rather than toes tapping, just send the thighs further out away from your belly. And then bring it back in. Small movement. Inhale. Exhale. Let's send those thighs away. Either single leg or you can do double legs away. So notice how the core has to connect even stronger the further the legs move away. One more time. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed, back of head is heavy. Bring it in, one foot to floor, other foot to floor, take a moment. So anything that moves away from your center, as in your belly general area, anything that moves away from center is much more challenging. So if you draw the knees into the chest, not so challenging on the belly muscles, right? Because everything is in, we don't have to work so hard to support ourselves. You can bring the feet down. So yeah, anything that goes away from the center. So arms up to the ceiling. Yep, that's okay. Take the arms out, sort of hover them above the floor, more challenging. I mean, we can do it, right? It's not that challenging, but it's more difficult than having the arms up to the ceiling or even arms into the sides of the body. Of course, that's the easiest option. Which is why we do it all day, every day, because it's really nice just to have the arms resting by the sides. But as soon as you take them away, if we hold that for, I don't know, more than 30 seconds, your arms will get tired. It's harder the further away from center you go. Right, enough talking, let's get back to our hundreds exercise. Head down as an option. Put one hand on the back of the head as an option, swap if you need to. Feet down or legs lifted in our knee float tabletop position. Here we go. So shoulders relaxed, neck long. Breathing in to prepare. Breathe out, draw those ribs in. One leg to tabletop, other leg to join. Inhale, prepare. Slide the hands down to start to hover the head and shoulders off. Hands in line with the shoulders. Stop pumping the arms. Full inhale, full exhale, and then we'll go for 5 rounds. We breathe in. We breathe out. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more round. Arms relaxed, core is still engaged, head relaxed. One foot to floor, other foot to floor, and chill. Woo! Nice. So as you are, take a moment just to allow the breath to return back to normal. Great. Fabulous work. So we're going to go for our small pelvic tilts, building into long pelvic tilts. So feet again, hip width distance. Arms just relaxed by the sides, back of the neck long. Breathing in to prepare. Breathing out. I want you to think the hip bones on the front coming up towards the ribs, core connects, so the ribs are drawing in, hip bones coming up towards the ribs, the lower back flattens, hold it there. So you should feel your butt cheeks just slightly kind of lift off the floor, but actually that lower back is still down. So it is a small movement, hence small pelvic tilt, and then releasing that. Have a little gap underneath that lower back. Breathing in to prepare. Breathing out, tuck the tailbone under, hip bones coming up towards the ribs. You can also think belly button to spine at this position as well. And then release that. Just go a couple more times using your breath. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, core connects to find that pelvic tilt. In this position, keep going. is where we might start to feel a little bit stronger through the pelvic floor, because as soon as we start to tuck and tilt, maybe we can feel that lift up of the pelvic floor, so pelvic floor lifting up towards the belly. Now we can of course go further. So press down through the feet to tuck the tailbone. That lower back is flattened. Now keep pressing into the floor as you start to peel that lower back up, maybe up to the back of the ribs. Maybe you want to go all the way up towards the shoulder blades. So you find that length through the front side of the body, press down through the feet. Breathing in to prepare. Rolling down like your roll downs at the beginning. So belly button to spine, rolling down through the upper back, one vertebrae at a time. Middle back, lower back, and then lastly the bum. And you can release back to your neutral spine, neutral pelvis position. So remember, our neutral is we're not doing anything, so we're not tilting at all. We're just in our normal. Neutral, normal. They're not overextending. Cool. So on that way down, of course, it's the most challenging part. We know. We feel it. So think of belly button to spine, really connecting the core to roll down one vertebrae at a time. So things you've got to think about, or things that are involved, sorry, you don't have to think about them, they're just involved. Coordination, of course. The breath is involved. The breath is coordinated along with the bodily movements. You've got your flow involved in this because we're kind of flowing up and flowing down. Precision, of course, we need to be precise in where we're placing ourselves. Control, of course, that's involved because we've got to control ourselves in our movement. So lots of those fundamental principles, of course, involved in all of our exercises. Breathing in. As we exhale, draw those ribs in, tuck the tailbone, hip bones to ribs as we slowly roll up. Peel one vertebrae at a time, up and away from the mat. Finding that long line at the top, press down through the feet, lift the hip bones up towards the ceiling. Breathing in to prepare to roll down. Exhale, draw those ribs in, core connects, pelvic floor lifts as we start to roll down. Again, one bone at a time. As it finds the floor, keep that tailbone tucked for the longest time. And then finally, you can release it down back to our neutral pelvis, neutral spine position. We're going to go for one more. Breathing in. Breathing out, tailbone tuck. Ribs draw in, pelvic floor lifts. As we roll up, press down through the feet. Feeling that lovely length and opening through the front of the body. Feel the collarbones wide. Breathing in. Breathing out, slow, controlled roll down. Keep tucking the tailbone under. So really working that pelvic tilt. And then finding a way down to the ground. Once you are down to ground, wiggle the feet and the legs together. Let's take the arms out to a T-shape. You can have palms up or palms down. I really don't mind. I think it's normally palms down, but I don't like that. It just feels nicer on my shoulders to have palms up. But if you guys want to go a bit more how the books tell us to do it, then palms are down. You get a bit more of that internal rotation. Arguably a little bit more challenging. But let's see how we go. So feet and knees together. Breathing in to prepare. As we exhale, draw those ribs in, core connects as we float the knees over to the left side. This is the one we did seated earlier. Now we're doing it lying down. Called hip rolls. Now that's your clue here. So top right hip is going to sort of roll to send the right knee along the left to meet it. Now, if you're quite tight through upper back, shoulder, chest like myself, that right shoulder will hover. That's okay. Breathing in. As you breathe out, you're going to soften into that right shoulder and upper back. Gaze down the right arm to the right side wall. So this is an active stretch, guys. So send your right knee actively forwards, like you're trying to reach your right knee beyond the left knee and reach out through the right fingers. So we're getting that spine twist, hip mobility, and chest stretch there all in one. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more. Good, we're going to come out on the exhale. So inhale, prepare. Exhale, draw those ribs in. Back of the right ribs down, bum down to bring your legs back to the center. Second side. Breathing in to prepare. Squeeze those inner thighs. Exhale, float the knees over to the right side. Now, if we just kind of flop them over, the left foot's probably behind the right, the left knee is behind the right. So stack the feet and the ankles. Start to think of that left hip. Lift it up and away from the mat to lengthen that left thigh down the right. So you've got that length through the front of the thigh. Of course, feeling a bit of side stretch muscles going on. Rotating from the ribs, gazing down left arm to left side. Find your breath. Keep sending that left knee forwards beyond the right. Can you turn your head a little bit further? Breathing into the ribs, softening as you exhale. One more. Good. Next exhale, we're going to come out. So inhale, prepare. Exhale, draw those ribs in on the front, but back of left ribs are going to go down to the mat, hip to the floor, bum, and then knees back to center. Bring one knee into chest, followed by the other. Maybe head and shoulders off this time. Make a really tight ball with the body. Give yourself a little rock and roll around there if you want. Nice. Great. So from here, with the head and the head lifted, try and get your chin over the knees. So that means you've got to work a little bit more core to really lift up there. Nice. So the core is already switched on. Keep it switched on. Keep the knees where they are. Reach the arms up. So think biceps next to ears. Breathing in. Circle them round and hug the knees in. Inhale to extend. Exhale to circle them in. Great. Now we're going to add the legs. Last bit of effort and energy. So we're going to inhale, prepare. Exhale, extend the arms and the legs away. Circle the arms around, hug the knees in. Inhale. Exhale, extend. Inhale, hug. Exhale, extend. One more. Hug in. Release the head and the shoulders down. Woo! Double leg stretch. That was a little spicy one to finish off. So either rolling over onto one side or a couple of rock and rolls up and down. Bring yourself up to sit. Awesome. So coming to sit in cross-leg position or whatever comfortable position is comfortable for you. So just going over roughly what happened there. So all movements of the spine, which means forwards, backwards. So forward flexion, back extension, side bends. So your lateral flexed position and your rotation from the spine. Now, Pilates doesn't do a lot of rotation. You'll get your thread needle and your saw exercise, which we'll do another time. So yeah, there's not loads of rotation, which is mainly why I do a lot of yoga, because there's lots of rotation in yoga naturally anyway. Yoga's brilliant at lots of rotation, which we need a lot of, or we need to practice rotation because we don't do it generally day to day. So hence why we do lots of these rotated positions. We'll always work on rotation. So all of those spinal movements, your fundamental principles, your alignment, your breathing, your concentration, your centering, your control, your coordination, precision, lots involved in our Pilates practice, but of course, working that core, yes. So we can only fit so much into our sort of basics class in this short amount of time without going over too much detail, because we actually want to move. We don't just want to have kind of a lecture. So I'll probably do another one of these sometime soon, just to get other bits in, because there's loads involved, right? So hopefully you found it useful and helpful, and we can keep practicing and do some more. Do let me know if anything doesn't make sense. But let's finish off with a big breath in, reaching the arms up, and then just release the arms and the breath as you exhale. Awesome. Lovely stuff, guys. Well done. And we'll do some more another time. Thanks so much for joining. Catch you soon.